Good. How are you?
Very well.
That's good. Now, you heard some interesting conversation yesterday between Joe and I. You decided you want to pipe in on this and join in the conversation.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm driving along. I'm hearing you guys talk about couples keeping a secret stash
Of money.
Yeah, I know. And
This is new research that's just come out, Hans, that suggests that I believe it's about 3% of couples. There'll be one partner who has a secret stash, and the average amount, according to the research, is $30,000.
$30,000?
That will be sitting in that bank account.
Who's got that stashed away?
Well, I've got some information here where someone asked a question, do you have a secret stash of money? And 54% said yes.
54%? Wow.
Yes, and 33 said no, and 11% said now and then.
Right.
So I'm not too sure about this.
I'm part of the 11%. I'm generally more the now rather than the then, because I've got $2 in my pocket that she doesn't know about right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that. My problem, Hans, is I can't afford to have a secret stash.
My problem is I'm married to an accountant, and she knows how much my wage is, and she accounts for every cent of it. So how could I possibly have unless I had like a job on the side or something, I couldn't have a secret stash.
I reckon a secret stash of a couple of dollars you might get away with,
Yeah.
but if you got a secret stash of thousands...
She gives me $20 spending money a week. That's my secret
okay.
stash.
Can we go macro here and stop talking about Scott's financial woes? Hey, $20 is pretty good. This segment has the potential to become a little bit... I'm nervous already, Hans. Tell us what you think relationally. What does the secret stash actually mean? What does that represent, perhaps?
Well, the thing is, first of all, if you've got a secret stash and it's a substantial amount, the other person might think you're actually being deceitful because you're not giving them the information, because most people want honesty in marriage, openness, and a willingness to share things together. So if you've got a secret stash and the other person finds out, they'll probably feel that you've broken their trust.
Yes, betrayed a little bit.
Yeah, they feel betrayed, yes. Which can cause hurt, I guess, and probably with some people quite intense anger. So if you're going to do something deceitful like that, you've got to be very careful. Now the reason why...
Did you just endorse deceit as long as you don't get caught? Is that what I just said you do?
No.
You said it's just got to be careful. Heads, Kelder. Wow.
Now there's dirt in the hands.
Oops. No, what I'm saying, that's good that you picked that up, actually. That shows the shadow side of myself. I'm starting to sweat here. No, I would say that the best thing to do is to not have it. But you can understand in some situations where people do have it, and it's understandable. So, for example, if you're in a marriage and you know that it's going to, you're going to break up, and particularly for women, if their sort of husband's working, they've got no income, and so in those situations, sometimes you can understand it because they're keeping the stash away because they need to get out of the marriage, and they need that because if they don't have it, they're going to be high and dry and have absolutely nothing. So in those situations, you can understand.
So you're talking about very serious situations.
Yeah. The other reason why couples do it is because one or the other person is not very good at financial management, and so they use it as a hedge fund just in case. So they see the other person spending money all over the place and not really being careful with it, and they actually keep the stash for a rainy day. So they're doing it because they're concerned about the financial situation of the family, and so they do it because I don't really trust. Or if this other partner has in the past become broke, so they'll put things in place to make sure it doesn't happen. They might keep a secret stash at that time. It's interesting because it's not a new phenomenon. I read about even back in the old days, women would put money in, so if the husband worked, in the early days, just one income. So women would put money in a jar or in a sock or something, also just in case, often for a rainy day situation, because they might run out of money. And so the other thing is, I suppose, most couples, as I understand it, have joint accounts. So we were discussing this before. But other couples have, they'll have an account each. So my understanding is there's been a shift. So in the past, joint accounts were just sort of normal. Most couples have joint accounts, but now often couples have they have their own accounts, particularly if they're into second marriages. so they've had their own account, they're going into a new relationship the second time around. If they've been burnt the first time around, they're unlikely to hand over all the finances to their new partner the second time around, and so they might have their own accounts. But anything that's done in a secret way can cause tension in the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it true, Hans, that money is probably one of the primary reasons that relationships do bust up? It brings a lot of stress into relationships.
I actually found, so in my counselling here in Tasmania, in Hobart, money rarely comes up as an issue, actually.
Really? It's very
I'm
interesting.
very surprised about that myself.
Yeah.
It's often issues around the way people communicate, tension in the marriage, but money rarely comes up as the issue for people to break up. Occasionally you might get someone who's irresponsible with money and the other person's really upset. And so that often comes from family culture. So one person tends to be careful with money, the other one person tends to be more easy. And so the person who's careful can sometimes get a bit upset about the person who's easy with it. That can create some tension, but most couples can actually work this out.
Well, the other couple, the one that's easy with money has to get frustrated because, has to explain where the $4.95 went that last month.
Okay, let's stop that. Hans, today's one of the few Talk to the Hanses that's actually raised more questions for me than it's answered.
Is it really?
So I've actually got more that I want to discuss with you off air.
Ooh!
And
it's a private counselling
Not
session.
necessarily about my relationship, but in general. Like my reaction, and we need to go to a song, but my reaction is secret stash, bad thing, don't do it.
Yes.
But you've actually given some scenarios here where it might not be such a bad thing. So I think we need to talk about this more, Hans, if that's all right with you.
We can do